Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Adam's Music Box, where today we're going to celebrate the birthday of the late, great Stanley Turrentine. Now, Turrentine is one of my four favorite saxophonists of all time, the kind of people that I listen to when I want to hear great sax. I did say sax, this is a family channel after all. I put him up there with my other favorites, Pharoah Sanders, John Coltrane, and Joe Farrell. And not a lot of people put him up there with those others, which is a damn shame because his tone, his timbre, his technique, his essence, his vibe is simply one of the greatest things that you're going to hear. Critically, he's the victim of snobbery because rather than going in for the avant garde or going in for the sort of classic bebop or hard bop sound, he always leaned towards the style of jazz known as soul jazz. It had groove, it had feel. You could relax to it, you could dance to it, you could simply get down to it. And a lot of people who mistakenly think of jazz as some sort of pompous intellectual exercise can't really get down with that. But when you put on one of his records, you realize that he simply knew his way around the instrument better than almost anyone else. And he did so in a way that did what music is supposed to do. He invited the listener to have an enjoyable and fun experience. I'll put it this way: if you're having a bad day, one of his records will turn it into a good day. And if you're having a good day, one of his records will turn it into a great day. Now, Stanley Turrentine is associated with one of the most important labels in all of jazz, and this is CTI, Creed Taylor's label, hence the CT. And if I was going to associate a specific style or sound of music with CTI, it would be a kind of groovy jazz that's approachable yet musically sophisticated, that's groovy but played by virtuosos. The list of people who recorded on CTI really reads like a who's who of great jazz artists in the 70s. Some of Freddie Hubbard's best work was on CTI. The same could be said of George Benson. Herbie Hancock appeared on a CTI record. Kenny Burrell did. One of the first, if not the first, actually, was a Wes Montgomery record. Hubert Laws, great saxophonist and flautist. People like Deodato, the great Brazilian fusion artist, as well. Jackie and Roy, a great vocal duo, did the absolutely best record ever on CTI called Time and Love. It's very trippy, very cool. It even features Billy Cobham on the drums. Joe Farrell, as I said, recorded his great Joe Farrell Quartet album. Chick Corea appears on it, as does John McLaughlin. Ron Carter, possibly the greatest of all the contrabassists of jazz, recorded for CTI. And I really encourage you to dig deep into this label. And for me, Stanley Turrentine always represented the essence of CTI because it was this approachable, groovy music. It's just the kind of music you want to have fun to, but not ever at the expense of supremely perfect musicality. Now, helpfully, some Spotify user, not me, I wish I'd thought of it first, but a helpful Spotify user has put together a custom playlist of all of the records in CTI's catalog. As an independent label, they put out quite a few records, but compared to a major label, they had very few, which is a good thing because it meant that the quality control was high. CTI never put out a record that wasn't approved by Creed Taylor, that wasn't something Creed Taylor was really into. And as an independent label, which it was between 1970 and the early 80s, it didn't put out a single bad record. So I'm going to really encourage you to dig deep into that playlist, and you can start off by looking at a Stanley Turrentine record. My personal favorite is his 1973 release, Don't Mess with Mr. T. You see him relaxing in a car, could be a Lincoln, I think it was, and that's just the kind of car, a 73 Lincoln Continental, that you'd want to be driving in while listening to his music. So have a great birthday. posthumously, but to his fans, have a great birthday, Stanley Turrentine. Check out CTI Records. You will not be disappointed. Whether you love jazz or dislike jazz, you will like it because the musicality is there for jazz heads, but the accessibility is there for those that aren't. So definitely jump right into that and keep listening to Stanley. You are not going to be disappointed. Like, subscribe, tune in next time.